Good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and talk about circles. Let's see if I can figure out how to get this to work. Okay, so I'm going to undo that. There we go. Here's a circle. Okay, we all know circle looks like this. There we go. So what we learned in the video yesterday was that every circle has a center. That is a point in the middle. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so here's our center. What that means is every distance from the center to the edge is the same length. So from the center to the edge here is the same length as the center from the edge here, and so on and so forth. Every line that I draw from the center out to the edge should be the same length. We call that the radius. Okay? The other type of line that we draw is called a diameter. A diameter goes from one edge of the circle through the center all the way to the other edge. If you notice, it's two of these radius lines put together. Here's one and two. That's called the diameter. So the diameter is equal to the radius times 2. A radius plus a radius equals the diameter. Then we can go the other way around and say the radius is equal to the diameter divided by 2. So if you take the diameter and divide it by 2, you get a radius. Okay? The thing we're learning today is about the circumference. So the video you watched the other day showed you about the circumference. So the circumference is a fancy word that talks about the perimeter of a circle. So the circumference. Okay. What that means is it's the length all the way around the edge of the circle. So when we count up the length of the outside of a shape, we call it perimeter. But with a circle, since it's all rounded, there is a special word for that and a special formula. So the circumference is how long would it take to measure all the way around. The equation we use is circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius. Now you might notice that this right here has a lot to do with this right here. Notice that we have a 2 and we have an r. 2 times r. Well, 2 times r is the same thing as the diameter. So if we take this 2 and r and combine them together, we actually get the diameter. So we've got the circumference equals the diameter times pi. Here are the two formulas you would use to calculate the circumference. Now, if you're not familiar, remember pi is that special number, and we approximate it using 3.14. Let's go ahead and do a couple examples. Okay, so let's say I have a circle where the radius is equal to 4 centimeters. That means halfway across the circle is 4, but I can use this r value to calculate the circumference. So to calculate the circumference, I use c equals 2 times pi times my radius, and in this case it's equal to 4. Okay. I know what 2 times 4 is, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply those first. 2 times 4 is 8. Then I'm going to multiply by pi. Remember that pi, the symbol here, is a special number, and the number that we use to estimate it, since it goes on forever, we have to cut it off. We say pi is actually equal to about 3.14. So we get circumference equals 8 times 3.14, and then we're going to do the math on that. And we get the circumference equals 25.12, and since we're talking about a length, a distance, that would be centimeters as well. So this is how you find the circumference of a circle. Now, you might be given the diameter first. You might say the diameter is 10. Let's say the diameter was 10. What would be the circumference? Well, the circumference is equal to diameter times pi. So the circumference equals 10 times 3.14. So that tells us if we multiply by 10, that moves the decimal over once. So then we would get 31.4. Ta-da! And there you go.